frickin' bonus here.
This is your main event, Mark's Bonus Podcast, brought to you by Belly Up Unhinged Radio Network Sports. I'm your first host, lifelong wrestling fan, former radio guy, cat dad, and I came out of a box, so I'm over. I am Troy. And with me, as always, is the main event collector and figure hunting warrior. He is the WCW Watcher of Classic Wrestling and the Viano 4 to my Viano 5. Que pasa, Greg?
That is officially dead. I don't know if you know that. Jim Cornette said he killed it. Chris Statlander ruined it for him.
Of all the people to, for that to be quote unquote ruined by, like,
right?
I don't.
It's like, I stand corrected. You no longer are over if you come out of a box. Which is kind of like, by the way, because he's actually reset his opinion on Chris Statlander. So I'm gonna give her another chance. I like her now. She's not the stupid alien anymore and can wrestle. And
right.
then lo and behold, she's now out for 8 months.
I know that really sucks. I will say she got the Bailey endorsement though. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, she's been her friend for years.
Yeah, because Bailey responded to her tweet about being hurt again, and Bailey said, it really sucks. You're really good. Can't wait to see you come back, or something like that. It's like, wow. That's
apparently, according to rumor and innuendo, that's the one thing AEW got that WWE wanted, and they're pissed off about. I don't know if that's true or not, but
well, they did have her at one point. Did you ever see those? She was in some jobber match. It was one of them where they throw her and another local girl in a match, and they're like, let's throw a tag team name on them and have them get squashed by somebody.
When was Brian Myers still in WWE?
Perhaps.
That's probably why.
Yeah, I think they called her like Christy or whatever. It was like Christy and somebody else, the Valley Girls or something like that. And I can't remember who they got squashed by.
The Valley Girl being the Long Island Girl. Yeah, that was okay. Buy it.
Yeah, I think that was it.
It literally doesn't get any less Valley than Long Island, dude.
Yeah, right. Oh, I'm sorry. It was Carissa and Kristen, the Brooklyn Bells. My bad. I just had to look that up. So, yeah, the Brooklyn Bells, and they jobbed out to the Iconics.
Wow.
So yeah,
I guarantee you, this Brooklyn Bells team was more talented than them two. I got to see it. You know that.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, but anyone who says they suck, okay?
No, yeah, they're not good. Yeah, that's right. They're right up there with the beautiful people, man. It's like when they came into Impact, I was like, oh, cool, them. Just, all right. But anyway, today though, man, we're not talking.
We got a show to talk about.
Yeah, we're not talking about current day wrestling. We're talking about classic wrestling. It is the second show of the week, handpicked by Greg himself. We are talking about Monday Nitro from August 4th, 1997.
That's Troy's way of throwing me under the bus. If it sucks, I get it. I respect that.
Hey, well, first of all, if that was my way of doing that, you've done that to me, so that would be payback.
Which is why I said I respect it. Do you not listen?
Well, I will say that's not my way of throwing you under the bus, though, because both shows this week, I mean, it may not be everybody's opinion, but I enjoyed watching both of these shows. The Clash of the Champions, if anybody goes back and listens from earlier this week, Clash of the Champions 35, it was the last one under the WCW banner. And I don't know, I liked it. And it just, I'm not big on giving points for nostalgia, but it hit a couple of spots with me where I'm like, oh my gosh, that threw me right back to, being 7 years old watching this. So that was cool. This one sort of did that a little bit, but I don't know. I enjoyed the Nitro. I have some critiques of it, but you can say that for literally every show that we watched. So except for this next week, where I think is a damn near perfect show top to bottom, but we'll talk about that.
Yep.
Either way, there's plenty of news and notes to talk about. Oddly enough, the show we talked about on Wednesday is like 2 weeks removed from this show, so we're actually going back in time 2 weeks for this, and we'll talk about all that. We've hovered around this like 2 week period a lot because we also covered SummerSlam 97, so you get a lot of August 97 for this one. So we'll steer clear of this era for a little while after this, but
well, yeah, because it doesn't end in 0 or 5 next year, so your OCD will take care of that.
I tried to shake it up a little bit more next year. This year, I saw my opportunity because I love 1997, and you and I always talk about how much we loved TNA in 2007. So I figured, well, what better time to do it than right here?
Well, I love TNA every day of the week, but
Good.
Impact Wrestling. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. God dang it,
Well,
pal.
You gotta specify.
Wow. Well, anyway.
You didn't hit the and. You just let it flow. TNA.
Yeah, TNA. Not well, and if I would have said T and A, for wrestling, we're talking about the tag team, Test and Albert.
Oh man.
Yeah, that classic. Anyway,
shut up. Move on. Move on now, please.
Well, speaking of moving on, let's take this opportunity to move on here. Time out here real quick to let you know that the Main Event Marks is sponsored by Swift Lifestyles. They are clean energy drinks and focus enhancers, great tasting vitamins, and big brain nootropics that are made and shipped from the USA. Go to swiftlifestyles.com and use our special promo code Main Event Marks, all one word, to get 15% off your order. It's Main Event Marks, all one word, to get 15% off your order at checkout. And now that we're done with that, we're going to take our first break of the podcast. When we come back, we're going to dive into the news and notes right after this. Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. Get ready to rumble in your new Main Event Marks merchandise. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, masks, hats, stickers, pins, and much more on our Redbubble store. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com. You can also pick up some awesome clothing items with the latest updated show graphics on our Bonfire store. That's bonfire.com/store/main event marks. Support your favorite retro wrestling podcast and pick up some cool swag on our Bonfire and Redbubble stores. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/main event marks.
Hey gang, it's Commissioner Cooper of TSS Fantasy. We are the fantasy show of the people. Expert fantasy advice, free contests, leading expert medical and legal analysis, and most importantly, you. Interact with us on all social media platforms or check us out at tssfantasy.com. You can hear us on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many more. Check out the fun today and be a part of the most interactive fantasy show around. TSS Fantasy, the fantasy show of the people.
Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks. And we're back.
We're back.
Real quick, we want to let you know that the Main Event Marks is sponsored by Shocked Energy. Shocked Energy is a healthier alternative to traditional energy drinks that gives the energy that gamers need while in a long session without skimping on their health. Their products come in a powder form and you mix them into water. You can either choose from green apple or watermelon. You can also try both if you get their sample kit. Use our special link that is down in the podcast description, or you can simply go to shockedenergy.com at checkout. Use the promo code MAINEVENT, all one word, to save 10% on your order. That's promo code MAINEVENT, and you're going to save 10% at checkout. News and notes here. The plan is for Sting to face Hollywood Hogan at Starrcade. The gimmick right now is that J.J. Dillon will keep offering Sting a contract for a match against different guys, and each week Sting rips up the contract and walks away. They keep going higher up the food chain until Dillon finally hands him a contract to face Hogan, and Sting will sign it.
Okay, all that does happen, but I still stand by what I said. It's stupid as hell. We know what he wants. It makes zero sense.
Right. And we'll talk about it more. There's a segment of this, not to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't watched it, but there's a segment of this during this Nitro. We will talk about it. It is, it's ridiculous. There's a lot to talk about with it, but
I like the idea of it, though. I'm not going to knock that. I thought it was a nice, long, drawn-out thing. the premise made no sense. I mean, not the premise. The offers made no sense, but it was fun in hindsight.
I mean, it's fun and all, but it also makes J.J. Dillon look like a complete moron. So, I don't know.
Which sucks to say, because I love J.J. Dillon. An underrated manager.
Right.
And somewhat of a really good talker, too. People don't realize that. That makes it a promo. No one ever talks about that when they talk about promos.
He had a certain presence on camera. I mean, he wasn't like flamboyant and over the top or whatever, but he didn't need to be. He was.
That's probably what helped him. He would have blended in with everybody else. So yeah.
Right. He just seemed like the businessman, former wrestler that helped his clients out and knew exactly where to be to help them. You ready for Uncle Dave's first bad take of the week?
You said first.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm no like genius here, but first usually indicates there will be a second, possibly a third. So yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's Uncle Dave. So. Well, here we go. Expect Curt Hennig to end up as a member of the Four Horsemen. It's believed that
that's not a bad take, because he does. You gotta give him that.
Well, it's believed that Arn Anderson will eventually return in a managerial role for the group. There's also talks of including Medusa.
Doesn't and no.
Yeah. Well, Arn Anderson does return, but he returns to give Curt his spot.
More on that later.
Not my dog's spot, but my spot. Yeah.
I feel so bad laughing at that. I don't laugh. It's not funny making fun of him. It's the makeup on Nash and the way he looked is what I'm laughing at.
And the way he talked.
He looked over the top ridiculous. It is not funny making fun of a man. Like what's wrong with Arn? But he just went over the top with the makeup and stuff, dude. I couldn't help it.
Well, what I thought was
Syxx's nose for Flair. Good lord.
Oh gosh, yeah, and squirting eye drops into his eyes, make it look like he's crying.
Oh.
I will say, like, Kevin Nash, and I'm pretty sure all this is true. Like, I think Eric Bischoff backed a lot of this up too, where he said, they knew what he was gonna do before he did it. Their claim is they're like, well, we didn't know how far they were gonna go with it. It's like, really? What, you think they were gonna take it easy on you? Handle you with kid gloves? Like, come on. And then the other thing is, Kevin Nash said he was like, that cooler that I had was Arn's actual beer cooler that he carried around with him. He's like, I didn't just pull it out of my ass. And
I never heard that before.
Yeah, he said that was Arn's cooler. I asked him if I could borrow it for the segment. And he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So he's like, that was his. He's like, I didn't just find it. And then he said later on at the hotel, after he got done calling home, and his wife was like, oh, what'd you let him do that for? He made you look like an ass. He's like, then I see him at the hotel, and I'm getting onto an elevator, and he's double fisting beers, and he's like, why'd you make me look like a drunk? And he's like, I just hit the button and went up. Yep.
This is a good segue for this.
Well, roll Tide.
12 o'clock there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And look, when they say it's after 5 o'clock, they don't specify AM or PM. Okay,
we just always after 5.
Yeah, right. Like, we always assume that somebody means PM, but that's not specified. So whatever. Take it as you will. This story we actually talked about on the previous show, but this one is before.
Oh, in the archives.
Right. This one's before. Before all the details came out, but there's still some funny / sad details about this one. Steven Regal's WCW status is in question at the moment. He was allegedly involved in some sort of disturbance on an airplane returning from Japan last week, which caused the plane to make an emergency landing in Anchorage. It could lead to charges being filed, which could affect his work visa, which in turn would lead to him being deported back to the UK and obviously cost him his job in WCW. Even if he's not deported, there's a lot of talk that WCW may fire him anyway. It turns out that Regal got really drunk and pissed on a flight attendant. That's the somewhere in first class we talked about on the previous show, by the way.
All right.
So literally on a port, I'm going to assume it's a woman. Maybe it was a dude. I don't, whatever. I guess I can't make the assumption, but he pissed on a flight attendant. There you go. In his book, he says he has no memory of it, and he just remembers waking up in a jail cell in Alaska. Oh, that's sad.
Wow.
That's that's something, man. Sucks for Regal.
I think he's gonna be fine though.
Yeah. Well, it sucks that he put himself through a lot of
I
stuff.
mean, it does
man.
suck, but stuff like that's your own fault, though, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he put himself through a lot of crap back in the day. But either way, this one, Sid will have surgery this week where they'll take a piece of bone from his hip and fuse it to his neck. I forgot he had this done. That sounds crazy to me. If he hadn't been fired, he would have been kept out of action for about 3 months. Speaking of which, Sid has hired a lawyer and is contesting his termination and is threatening to sue for breach of contract. The WWF, that is. Pronouns, pal.
Pronouns, pal.
Word is that WCW is interested in Sid, but only on a per-show deal and not for a long-term deal because of his track record. And even then, they'll only bring him in if Arn Anderson approves of it.
Well, he will come in what, late '99?
Yeah, like way later than this. So it's like 2 years later. Oh, man. Yeah, and the other thing about only if Arn Anderson approves it, Eric Bischoff himself said, yeah, that was never a consideration. He said, looking back, he said, maybe I should have talked to Arn about it, at least let him know what's up. But he's like, in no way, shape, or form would I have, sought his permission or approval.
Why would he need to? No offense, but...
Yeah, and he's like, let's not forget, Arn Anderson was a part of that stabbing incident. He said the only reason he still had a job afterwards, guaranteed, was because his best friend was Ric Flair.
No.
Yeah. So it's like, everybody talks about Sid losing his job and being blamed for the stabbing incident, and I'm not saying it's not, on him too, but both guys were stabbing each other.
Yeah.
Nobody was innocent here. Yeah. Nobody was innocent here. Somebody had to be made the scapegoat, and it was the guy who's not best friends with the world champion. So there you go.
I get it.
Yeah. Sucks for Sid, but, to your point about, William Regal, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, right. Softball's right around the corner, dude. Fine.
Good Lord. Yeah. I'm going to take a break to play softball for a few years back in Arkansas. Sell farm equipment.
Until I was a teenager, that's legitimately what I called it, Arkansas.
I'm going to see if you know who this one is. 17-year-old EMLL star Aguila is reportedly trying he's reportedly trying to get a job in the WWF. He wants to go to WCW or wanted to go to WCW rather, and he actually jumped ship from. He actually jumped ship from EMLL to Promo Azteca to make it happen. But even though WCW currently uses several Promo Azteca wrestlers, they aren't taking any more and will only accept new wrestlers from EMLL. And, well, Aguila burned that bridge. So now he's looking at the WWF. He would eventually go on to become S.A. Rios. For anybody that doesn't know.
And he would introduce Lita, so he did a good job.
Right. I like how he was like the main attraction of that act, quote unquote, and then he left and Lita became a multi-time champion.
Household name.
Yeah, household name, multi-time champion, Hall of Famer, and everybody's like, oh yeah, I remember S.A. Rios, kinda. Didn't he have red hair?
He also had a mask for a minute too. I believe he was Papi Chulo.
Yeah, Papi, I forgot about that. Holy crap. Freaking man.
Papi Chulo, S.A. It could not have gotten any more stereotypical with his names.
They got the most like...
I don't know why I'm just now seeing this. We're talking, what is this, 25 years later? Wow, S.A. and Papi Chulo. I never realized that until now.
Until the Mexicools came along, he was the most stereotypically Mexican character they had.
Yes, because WCW saw as La Parca, his name was La Parca. He was just like Day of the Dead. It's not getting more stereotypical than that.
I always wondered about that because I'm like, I had to actually ask a Mexican about that. I was like, so I didn't get it. I'm like, why does he have bones on his outfit? And his name is La Parca, which literally translates to like the parka or like the cloak. Yeah, and he I guess that's almost like another name for death. So he's supposed to be like the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, like a little kid in Coco.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yes,
so
Coco, by the way, go watch it. What's wrong with you people? It's one
right.
of Disney's best movies ever.
But yeah, I was like, so why does he dance and all that crap? Like, I don't get that part of, like, if he's supposed to be the Grim Reaper. And he was like, hell if I know. I don't know, like, he's supposed to be
Yeah,
like,
that part I don't know. My dad
like,
couldn't tell me.
yeah, he was like, I don't know, like, he's laughing at death or something. Like, I don't freaking know. And I'm like,
No,
all right.
That's Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He laughs at death.
Yeah, right. Well, somebody who didn't laugh at injuries, Shawn Michaels apparently does have a real knee injury this time. According to Dr. James Andrews, he has serious arthritis in his knee, and his ACL is in bad shape. The belief now is that Michaels will never be able to work a full-time schedule again, and he'll continue to work major shows.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, for how many years? And then he comes back and he wrestles damn near not every single week, but he wrestled quite a bit. Yeah. He was on a lot of Raws wrestling.
The only guy in history, I believe, to have 2 primes in his career.
Right?
That's insane.
I've never seen someone take as much time off, and not just like, I know people could say, well, he did like 1 or 2 matches at his little promotion down in Texas. That doesn't count. But he took off how many years? Like 4 years completely doing nothing. And then he comes back and it's like better than ever. Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, I like this stuff, man.
Speaking of which, that's a good, follow up for, stay tuned for next week, what we're going to be talking about. Taka Michinoku was offered a WWF contract this week, but hasn't signed yet. He'll be used on Raw on a per show basis for now.
And he does.
Yeah, he's around for a while. I know this.
I want to say 2001, give or take.
Yeah, something like that. 1 or 2. Probably 1. I think it's Funaki's on his own by 02.
God, you want to talk about a run, man?
Right.
Jeez,
Funaki's still there.
That's right. He's doing the Japanese commentary. That's right.
Yeah. Holy crap! Like, man, he's set for life, man. He showed loyalty, and they showed loyalty to him. Obviously, he's doing something right.
Well, this is what happens when you're the number 1 announcer. I mean, it should be set for life. But...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know the gimmick wouldn't fly in today's environment, but I will say, me and my dad frickin' loved Kai and Tai's gimmick of the whole, like, where they did the dubbing over their promos.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that might fly. That's a real thing. It's like that's still to this day.
It is, but
people take it
cry.
the wrong way. But
yeah, people cry and whine, and hey, if I don't get what I want, I'm gonna go home and cry on the internet.
Hell yeah! It's like if John Cena wins, we cry on the internet.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. Wasn't that a sign at some show?
Yep.
I love that. Rocky Maivia and Tom Pritchard were on the Maury Povich show this week.
Oh, pause for that, please.
Yeah, right. Talking about their dreams to become pro wrestlers. Maivia has been filming some segments that will air on WWF TV in the next few weeks, talking about his real life before wrestling.
It's crazy to think this is mid 97. He's about to explode within a year.
Right. And become one of the biggest stars in and out of wrestling ever.
One of the biggest stars in the world, period.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's still pumping out good films, man. And he's at the point where he's got crappy films under his belt, and it doesn't matter. He's one of those kind of stars where it's like, yeah, not everything is a hit, but he's a big enough star where he can pump out the occasional crapper. I don't think he has in years, but yeah.
He was smart to latch onto the Fast and Furious bandwagon, by the way. No matter how it ended, he made a huge amount of money with that. Now it's like, whatever.
He only had to make 1 or 2, and boom, there you go. The plan is for WWF to introduce Kane at the next big pay-per-view. Nope, not until October.
Are you saying that Bad Blood is not a big pay-per-view?
Well, they said at the next big pay-per-view. I'm assuming they mean like this month. So
the next big one would be SummerSlam. SummerSlam hadn't aired, right?
Yeah, I think it was on the 11th, so we're coming up on it. So they're assuming he's going to pop up at either SummerSlam or whatever the hell came between SummerSlam and Bad Blood.
That was Ground Zero.
Oh, that was it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he was right? I don't know. I don't like to give him credit. Either way.
He just threw some crap at the wall because it was going to stick because it was inevitable he was coming very soon. You can only have the Paul Bearer teasing crap for so much longer. It was getting a little bit old. Think about it. He had been doing it since July or June.
Yeah.
At this point,
been a while.
This is 2 months. And by the time Kane debuts, it's 4 months. So he was inevitably going to be right just because he threw it at the wall. It's going to stick.
Yeah, well, you can only put he's coming very soon in your newsletter, long enough before it's like, hey, you're bound to be right one of these times, man. Unless they just scrap the whole gimmick, which I don't think is going to happen.
It's like sitting here in August right now. Christmas is coming. Not next month. It's coming soon. Not the month after. It's coming soon. The month after that. See, eventually you're going to be right. So there you go.
Or, like even something like less like certain than that. Like when they I'm trying to think.
A Blue Moon's coming for sure. Yes, twice a year.
Well, like when they greenlight, it's like, the next season. Stranger Things. They haven't announced the final season, like when it's actually going to drop yet. It's like, well, season 5 is coming soon, right? It will be here. It's going to be here soon. I promise. All right, bet on it.
There's that in-depth journalism we were waiting for, Dave.
Right, the hard hitting stuff right here. Speaking of the hard hitting stuff.
Anyways, go on.
Speaking of the hard hitting stuff, it's time for This Week in ECW.
If I may have another volley.
Paul Heyman had a meeting with Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, and Jim Ross this week in Stamford to try to fix the broken relationship between the two sides. Nothing solid was agreed upon, but McMahon told Heyman that if he had any ideas for angles that would benefit both companies, let him know and they would consider it. They also discussed...
I just love how it's a broken relationship. I'm like, no, dude, it's broken for you, Paul. You don't need you. Don't fool yourself.
Yeah,
like Vince. Relationship would be if they're both suffering.
Yeah, like Vince is like, the ratings are down for Raw this week, pal. We really need to bring in the Sandman.
Of all these silly guys you could have said.
I was trying to go with a horrible one.
Don't get me wrong, you picked the right one, but holy crap.
Yeah. What's up with those gangsters? Can you bring in New Jack and we'll play his song on a loop for 10 minutes? Maybe he'll jump out of the rafters.
See, WWE might have had a problem with that because Ice Cube might have heard it on there. Nobody's watching ECW, so they got to wait playing all they want.
Yeah, right. But they both, they also discussed having ECW wrestlers appear on next month's Raw live from Madison Square Garden. There have been rumors that Paul Heyman is on WWF's payroll, but he denies it.
I am not on your payroll.
So if anybody goes back in the archives, I can't remember which. So it might have been I think it was our SummerSlam 97 episode. We talked about that. He still denies that to this day. And we really can't say whether or not it's true. If he's being
the promo building up to One Night Stand, I think Vince, Paul Heyman, Eric Bischoff, what a trio that is, all in the ring at the same time. And Vince flat out says, "I have proof of giving ECW money for years, just like up to $500,000." It's just something.
Yeah,
like that. I can't remember it word for word right now. It's in that promo building up to One Night Stand, the very first one, the best one.
Right. Well, Heyman says something about, he doesn't necessarily say they're not accepting money from WWE. He just says he's not on their payroll.
Oh, semantics. I guess he's got you there.
Yeah, right. It's like, I guess it's like if it's not a check personally made out to Paul Heyman and he's not getting like a what is it, the 1040 or 10W40 or whatever the tax.
Oil, I believe.
Yeah, that's oil. I'm getting it mixed up. What the hell is a tax form you get?
The 1040 is the tax form you fill out, right? So that's it.
Yeah.
W2. You think of W2?
1040
you should fill out with said W2.
Well, a W-2 is what you get if you're being taxed, but if you're an independent contractor, you get something else. I can't even remember. Somebody will have to correct me in the whatever. But yeah, if they're actually taking taxes out, then yeah, you get a W-2. If they're not, you get another one for like independent contractors and whatever. That's what
Are we gonna overlook this whole joke about Paul and taxes, or what? We're just gonna.
My father makes sure that I get away with it, sir. I will.
That must be David's favorite son right there, man. He got him out of some jams, dude.
Right. I will say I don't know. I didn't look ahead. I don't know if any ECW guys pop up at the Raw and MSG.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, I'm going to assume no.
That's the one where Austin Stunts McMahon. There's no ECW on there.
Yeah. So, and that's one that I think now in the archives we covered that one. I don't remember.
Oh yeah,
sure,
we did.
But...
It's a bonus show. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So go look that one up whenever that was. But for the first time,
because it's remembered for that moment, and then we agreed. And this show sucked. Other than that moment.
Yeah. Right.
I'm pretty sure that was it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. It's like when was that? I know it was 90s. Oh yeah, September 22nd, 1997. We covered it on September 23rd, 2020. So go back and check that out. It was a regular show, I think, or it might have been. Yeah. Okay. No, it was.
I feel like it was a bonus. We usually do those shows as a bonus. Maybe I'm wrong.
We should have done it as a bonus, but oddly enough, no. That was our third. September that month was a big month. Apparently, we did a crap ton of shows, but yeah, that one dropped on September 23rd. The September bonus was Fall Brawl 95, and my, what a show that was.
Seems like we could have flipped those, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, that was before I started thinking about it. It's like, makes more sense to do it the other way around. But yeah. Either way. Yeah, go check it out. Support the show. We're still getting our bonus shows get a lot of downloads, oddly enough. So thank you all.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, right. But for the first time in its history, ECW drew a crowd larger than 2,000 people to a show in Monaca, Pennsylvania. Okay.
That's a real city?
Yeah. At the show.
Isn't that just like you spray in your mouth and you can't find toothpaste?
What the hell?
No, seriously. No, it's Binoca. I really thought that's what it was.
Good Lord.
Well, it's named after that.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
It's Binoca. If you guys want to sponsor us, Binoca, we'll take it.
But at the show, Paul Heyman announced that ECW will hold its third pay-per-view in November, entitled November to Remember, and it will be at the same building in Monaca.
Man, you said a mouthful, guys.
Yeah. There you go. Last ECW-related story I got. The rap group Insane Clown Posse is scheduled to perform at the beginning of ECW's...
yeah.
At the beginning of ECW's Hardcore Heaven pay-per-view next week, after hyping up ECW so much on Howard Stern's show last week. So,
some things in this world just go together.
Right. I will say, I mean, that, as you said, that definitely fits. It was kind of a big get for ECW at the time because ICP had more mainstream exposure than they did, oddly enough.
That is sad as hell.
Well, they had just come out with an album. To anybody out there who doesn't know, they had an album called The Great Malenko. They had an album come out around this time called The Great Malenko that it came out under Island Records, I believe, which was owned by Disney, and people found out.
All this just no.
Well, they apparently people found out and they protested and like sent a bunch of angry letters or whatever pre-Twitter. That Disney would dare put out such an album. So as soon as they released it, they basically yanked it off shelves and said they refused to sell it anymore. So ICP went to another record label, got it put on shelves again, and it went double platinum.
For that reason only, though. I guarantee it. I bet my right eye on it.
Oh, well, yeah, I got a ton of publicity over
I mean,
it.
hey, their bank account swolled up, so we can't say anything about that.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
because they advertised it as, the album they don't want you to hear and whatever, so everybody ran out to get it. And this was during the time when there was...
And you know what? That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want about those idiots. That is brilliant.
They've always been great at marketing, I'll say that.
They're the original Young Bucks. Seriously.
Right? Last couple stories I got here. In USWA... Oh, man.
Now covered the birth, the death, and the in-between of this company.
Yeah. It's always something funny coming out of here. Fake Razor Ramon declared that he was done with the WWF and wants to be referred to as Rick Titan. He threw the Razor Ramon outfit into the garbage can. Thus, the fake Razor / Diesel gimmick has finally come to a merciful, whimpering end. Yeah. Over in Japan, he was Big Titan. In America, he's Rick Titan. His real name is Rick Bogner. I think, he's passed away, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think he passed away a couple of years ago. But, yeah, I think he had a stint in ECW before the fake Razor thing. They called him Slice and Dice Ramirez.
Okay. Was he a gangster?
Nope, he dressed up like Razor Ramon and basically did a rip-off gimmick.
Wow, masterful. I still, to this day, can't figure out why that company went under. Move on.
That's the whole reason why they actually brought him in, because Paul was like, I have this guy who looks and sounds just like Scott Hall, sir. And so they brought him in. Either way, it's just like, wow, this kind of show. It's like there's a difference. I feel like we've covered something like this a few times. There's a difference between like gutting it out and just being freaking stupid. This year's New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax tournament ended with Kensuke Sasaki as the winner, Hiroyoshi Tenzan as the show stealer, and Masahiro Chono in the hospital. Chono went into the tournament with a badly injured ankle from, of all things, a match with Dusty Wolf at a WCW taping 2 weeks earlier.
Before you go on, can you get his name right, please? We've been over this.
Good Lord. He's not my hero.
Is Masa my hero? Chono.
Maybe in Japan. Over here in America, he ain't nobody's hero. But he had torn ligaments, a dislocated ankle, and a broken heel bone. Rather than getting the surgery... Rather than getting the surgery that doctors said he needed, he chose to work the tournament, only to injure it worse in his first match. He then worked the second.
The doctor know, though.
Yeah, screw them, man. He's an effing man. He worked the second match, but it was short, and he was eliminated from the tournament after that. My God. This is just effing stupid. Like, I'm sorry, but it's like, dude, you've got all this wrong with you, and you're like, nah, I'm going to gut it out. Like, why? Like, what's the purpose?
For a professional wrestling match, by the way. This isn't Kurt Angle in the Olympics.
Right. And he's not even supposed to win. It's like, okay, this would still be stupid, but if he was going to win the tournament, which I've discussed in the past, you win the G1 Climax, you get the world title match at the January 4th Tokyo Dome show, which is their biggest show of the year. He wasn't going to win. So what the heck? Why? He wasn't even going to be in the finals.
Because reasons.
Yeah. Oh, well, if they don't get Masa Chono in this tournament, they might revolt and want their money back.
Yeah. Who's they?
Uncle Dave.
All right, that's fair. I'm sure you're going to say there, but you answer correctly. I'll take it.
Right. Last story I got here. We actually have a follow-up to this in this previous show that we did on Wednesday, but here you go. What's going on in Mexico? Carlos Mañez, I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, former promoter of the UWA in Mexico, and Manny Guzman, former head of the most powerful pro wrestling union ever, were both kidnapped in Mexico this week after a show that Mañez was promoting. As of press time, 10 days later, both men are still missing. someone used Minius's ATM card and withdrew all the money that they could the day after his kidnapping. There have been no ransom notes and no evidence that it's related to the ongoing wrestling wars in Mexico, but that hasn't stopped people from pointing fingers.
This sounds like I said, I think I said this when we first said it. It sounds like a really bad drama.
Yeah. Sounds like one of those, is it the Telenovelas? What are those?
I think so. Yeah, it's a mixed soap opera. Yeah. Telenovela.
Telenovelas. Yeah, that's it. I don't know what the hell I was saying.
I think he said Tele9.
And Nuevas. Yeah, right. if nobody can tell, I'm white and I failed Spanish in high school. So there's that.
I'm part Mexican and I don't speak a lick of Spanish, so there you go.
Yeah, right. And you live in Northern California, so what the hell's wrong with you?
My dad spoke it fluently. There's more.
Right. Anyway, that brings us to our next break. Going into this one, just to let you know, check out Here in Puckburg with a friend of the show, Shaggy Von Doom, a.k.a. Kyle Sullivan. He had Greg on, I think, last year, was it?
It was last year. It's a hockey pod. And I fully endorse this podcast because no one likes hockey. It ticks me off.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Like the redhead stepchild of sports, man. It's a great sport. Wish my team did better.
Well, and you wouldn't expect the half Mexican guy from Northern California to be a big hockey fan, but there you go.
It's fun. And I'll stand by this. They're the funnest games to go to live.
Yeah, that's one of the only sports I haven't been to live. And I should say I haven't been to a professional hockey game. I've been to a minor league hockey game live, and that was fun. But if I went to an actual pro hockey game, that'd be pretty good.
Been to their arena out there in Columbus.
Yeah, I know. I might try to go this next season. We'll see what's up. But either way, tune in for Here in Puckburg. He'll talk all about it in this break. And on the other end of this break, we're going to be talking all about Nitro 100.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
By God, somebody's interrupting the Main Event Marks. Sit down, JR. It's just me, Kyle Sullivan, aka Shaggy Von Doom, your host of Here in Puckburg on the Hockey Podcast Network. I know, a hockey show on Main Event Marks. Who would have thought? This is an invasion angle. Somewhere between the Nexus and when WCW tried to invade WWE, somewhere in there. But I'm over here just telling you that one half of your tag team champions over here, Greg, he told his story of his love for the game of hockey over on my show. And if you'd like to hear that story, all you have to do is search Here in Puckburg wherever you get your podcast or on YouTube. In the meantime, Shagamania's got to go run wild on some other hockey show. So, just remember, quote the Raven, nevermore. Take your vitamins, say your prayers, and oh yeah!
Hello everyone, my name is Ryan McCarthy and I'm the host of the No Credentials Required podcast. Start your work week with the Monday Drop-In, where I talk about the sports beat in the Capital District, also known as the Muddy 518, as well as Metro New York sports from an upstate point of view. I also give a life lesson from a weekly sports story, so you might learn something from that. I also have a midweek podcast where I interview different sports personalities and talk about a wide array of topics. Take a listen and subscribe on your preferred podcast app, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Also check out our social media channels on Twitter and Instagram, BellyUpNCR, and Facebook.com/BellyUpSportsNCR. We're a part of the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network in association with Godzilla Media. No credentials required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we're back. It's WCW Nitro number 100. CN. The date was August 4th, 1997. from the Palace at Auburn Hills in Auburn Hills, Michigan.
AKA the Malice at the Palace. People don't know what I'm talking about. It's a fun special on Netflix. Go watch it.
This is one it's pretty much Detroit. It's one of them like when you're in Rosemont, you just say Chicago. But yeah, so the attendance for this one was 17,616. The TV rating was a 4.4. For reference, Raw's War did a 2.7 this week. So they got hammered. This was obviously during the 83-week streak. We actually covered the breaking of the 83-week streak in a show. Don't ask me when we did that. Was it earlier this year or last year?
It's in April, obviously, because we do it month by month. So it's one of the April shows. I don't know if it was this year or last year, though.
Yeah, okay. It could have been. Yeah, I believe it was last year. Yeah, I don't remember doing it this year. Yeah, okay. April's bonus show from last year. It was WWF Raw from April 13th, 1998, when Raw snapped the 83-week streak. So there you go. Go check it out. Sending you back to a bunch of the archives this week, but that's what we do here. Either way.
And it's a lot of fun. Don't forget that. It's important.
Yeah. Oh man, how many shows are we up to at this point, man? It's a lot. 142 listenable episodes. Well, actually, the posting of this, it'll be 144 actually listenable episodes. So plenty of us to go around. We start the show.
You should listen to us because I love us. So you should too.
Yeah, right.
No, sorry, I hurt my shoulder. Pat myself on the back. Sorry.
Barry Horowitz and yourself.
Shalom.
Good grief. We start the show off by...
Wrestling, dude. Come on. Everyone knows that. If you guys didn't see that on AEW, I mean, I know not a lot of people watch, but it was a moment. Barry Horowitz, legendary Jewish wrestler.
Good grief.
Only Chris Jericho, man.
He's right up there with Goldberg. But we start the show off by being welcomed by Michael Buffer and asked if we're ready to rumble. Pyro blows and the Nitro Girls dance on the stage before Voodoo Child hits and Hollywood Hogan comes out to the ring with Eric Bischoff. Hogan's mustache.
How roll tide were the Nitro Girls?
Oh, well, of course. I mean, they were so roll tide. The Sexy Boy married one. But Hogan's mustache was nearly gone and his beard was completely shaved off.
I think he had just filmed Three Ninjas Hiding in Mega Mountain, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Well, when was it? Because this might have been what's that called with Carl Weathers? Salt on Devil's Island. Oh, yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say, I think that you're thinking of, was it Halloween Havoc 96 with the wig?
Yes, the wig. You're right.
Yeah, yep. So you're probably right about the Salt on Devil's Island situation. That sounds like about this time. But either way, it was
it's all like, don't worry about it. So
yeah. But Hogan and Bischoff talk about how dumb Lex Luger is, not leaving Hollywood alone. WCW management, against Hollywood's wishes, has granted Lex his world title main event tonight.
Which, by the way, real quick, I want to point out, I think I mentioned this last week. This goes back to Spring Stampede 97, now in the archives. This is where he got that shot. People may forget. Like, why does he have a shot? He got it there. So you got to give WCW some big credit for that long continuity.
Yeah.
It's worth pointing that out.
It's just one of them where it's like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Like, okay.
Yeah, this is going to sound weird, but remember, he beat Harlem Heat to get a shot at the title. I guess technically I'm the Giant, but yeah.
I do remember, yeah. It's freaking weird, man.
But, I love the fact that there was some long continuity. I gave you credit for that because that doesn't happen even in today's wrestling anywhere.
Right. Yeah. The only thing that comes close is like the Money in the Bank thing, but they've gotten to the point where they tease.
But the thing there though is the person has it normally, and the women haven't done it in years because they just cashed it that night. But the person has it on Raw or SmackDown every week, so you're always reminded of it. My point here is they could have easily forgotten this. Oh, he won that Spring Stampede, blah blah blah. It never happened.
Well, my thing with the Money in the Bank is they've done this in the last couple where it's like they tease it every effing week. It's like, oh, he's cashing in now. Oh no, he's not.
Well, Theory's only up to 1 as of this recording, so I guess that's good.
Yeah, that. See, I think that keeps it special when you're not teasing it constantly. But either way, so Hollywood is going to wipe the floor with him tonight. Before leaving, Hogan says that
kick Luger's butt.
Good Lord. Hogan says that the world title will stay in the NWO family. So at Road Wild in Sturgis, Hogan will take on Scott Hall. Hella random, but okay.
I don't know where that came from.
I know, right? I'm like, eh? I mean, this doesn't happen, but it's just random that he said that. Like, okay. Speaking of random, up first, we get Mortis with James Vandenberg in his corner taking on Kurt Hennig. 3 minutes, 47 seconds. Yeah, they're all kind of like that. Vandenberg tries to get involved and gets punched in the face by Hennig. In the end, Hennig nails the Hennigplex for the pinfall win. Uncle Dave didn't rate most of these matches, so I got Mike Fitzgerald with 411 Mania, gave it dose stars. For being less than 4 minutes, I thought they did some good stuff with their time, so I gave it 2 stars. What say you?
I didn't rate any of these matches either, but
okay.
You know, I feel like they could have done a lot. They could have done a lot longer with these two. People forget how good a Wrestle Canyon was, or Mortis, whatever. But
yeah, for sure. The
he
only
was
problem
not bad. It's like he was
right.
Like a,
yeah, this gimmick just.
I
Either
only
way.
halfway disagree with you. I thought the presentation was cool, but then go ahead.
Then that damn bell had to ring. It's just the whole thing. It's like he looks cool, but when you're like, it's kind of lame. It's like he's supposed to be a video game character. I don't know. But we get play-up packages up next for Sting, and then we get Hector Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero, which I was like, what? Chavo Jr., by the way, not Chavo Classic. They're taking on Dean Malenko and Jeff Jarrett with Queen Deborah in their corner, but just shy of 5 minutes. In the end, Jeff Jarrett holds Chavo back while Dean makes Hector tap out to the Texas Cloverleaf. Mike Fitzgerald to 411 Mania, and I both gave it dose stars. I thought it was decent for the time they had.
Yeah.
I didn't know Hector Guerrero was in WCW at this time.
I forgot to. And then I remembered that he was. If that makes any sense.
You know, it's weird if anybody.
I forgot about that.
Right. I don't know who takes after who. I want to say. Because if you look at the sets of boys, like Chavo and Mondo look a lot alike, and then Eddie and Hector look a lot alike. But
I said right here, Hector looked more like Eddie than he ever has in this moment.
Right. Yeah. Because when I first saw Hector Guerrero for the first time ever, I was like, holy crap. Like, there's no denying that's Eddie's brother. So, yeah. But Chavo, I was like, Chavo Sr. anyway, I'm like, I don't see it.
I never thought he looked like anybody.
Have you seen Mondo?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I always thought Mondo and Chavo looked similar. So I don't know if they take after the mom and Eddie and Hector take after their dad, or maybe vice versa. I don't know. But it's just funny that it's like it's such a stark contrast between it's like these two look alike, then these two look alike, but both sets don't look anything like they're related.
And to my knowledge, they all have the same parents. So
yeah, oh yeah, for sure. But either way, after the match, Jeff Jarrett struts and celebrates with Queen Deborah after the match and tries to get Dean Malenko to join in. Dean ain't having it, though, and he takes off. We now get a quick preview for Road Wild in Sturgis before a commercial break. They are plugging the hell out of that Road Wild show, and spoiler alert, it's going to suck.
No.
I know. It just hold on to your ass. I wasn't
expecting weird.
It.
It's usually the Road Wild, Hog Wild, whatever shows are just barn burners, man.
Yeah, and then they replace it with New Blood Rising, and man, that was a home run. Like they're
God, you went inside the park home run, but whatever.
It wasn't even a single, like, it wasn't even a base hit. All right. Like, their August pay-per-views were just destined to suck. I don't know why, they just were.
Well, did they know that SummerSlam is there and that was the one? But
I figured that would make them try harder.
I don't think SummerSlam was what it was now back then. It's not what.
Yeah, I don't know
like
when the
today people flock to it. And like back then, I don't think so.
Right. I mean, it wasn't quite that big. They always tried to tease it as like, oh, it's not quite WrestleMania, but it's close. So I don't know. But when we come back from commercial break, Mean Gene Okerlund tries to get a word with Raven, who's sitting in the front row and in front of a handful of easy.
He looks like he is like celebrating life, man. The way he just the look on his face. He's just so happy to be there.
Hey, he looks like he just came from his house after he found out that his dog got ran over and his parents are getting divorced. And
Lord.
It's a good day for Raven. But he's sitting in front of a handful of ICP fans. They've all got signs and everything for it. I'm like, random, but all right. Stevie Richards now comes out of nowhere with a contract that he hands to Mean Gene. He tells Raven that that's
dancing Stevie Richards.
Oh,
you get that right.
F out of me.
Thank you.
But he tells Raven that he's been at CNN Towers renegotiating Raven's contract, making sure that Raven can follow him to WCW. Mean Gene hands Raven the contract and a pen. Raven stands up and spits in Stevie's face. Stevie stands up and blocks a punch from Raven, saying that Raven is not going to abuse him anymore before Raven walks away.
Spoiler, we'll use him a lot more.
Yeah, listen to our previous show, Clash of the Champions 35, where Raven beats the snot out of him. There's that. Speaking of beating the snot out of people, up next, it is the Giant in a 3-on-1 handicap match against Joey Maggs, Lenny Lane, and Scott D'Amore.
You might notice a couple of those names.
Yeah. Scott D'Amore, the very same guy who is currently running Impact Wrestling. And yes, he does look like that kid from the Goonies that did the Truffle Shuffle all grown up.
Or the kid from, what's his name? Buzz from Home Alone.
Oh, good Lord. Man, I don't know who's worse with that one.
And that is Lenny Lane, by the way, future WCW competitor. And Joey Maggs, interestingly enough, he's been on quite a few WWF shows that I've been, like I said, I've been binge watching the old school stuff. He was a regular travel for stars. So
hell of a career he had, man. Can't wait for his Hall of Fame induction. Anyway, this one goes about 1.5 minutes. The Giant dominate.
I think Barry Horowitz does belong in the Hall of Fame, though. I was going to say that, right?
He was at least good and memorable, so I'll give him that. But the Giant dominates. I know, I was shocked too. First chokeslamming Maggs, then D'Amore, then Lane, and pinning all three of them. I mean, there's nothing to rate here. It was a squash match, so there you go.
My whole thing is like, why is this happening? He's an established star. He's been the world champion twice. Why the hell is he doing this now? This is what you do when you're starting him out. I'm not trying to sound like a fantasy Booker fanboy, but why the hell is this a thing?
Well, because you got to get to a segment, Greg, and apparently the Giant's the only dude on the show who can't just come out and grab a mic.
This is true.
Yeah, on the next SmackDown, we're gonna have Roman Reigns going against the local squad.
This reminds me, by the way, you said Roman. It's his cousin, and it's also a world champion. In 1994, Yokozuna wrestled 3 men on a random episode of Raw, 3-on-1, and he was the WWE champion at the time.
Wow!
Just remind me. I just watched that episode last night. This is stupid.
Yeah, it's like, well, we got to get him on the show some way. It's like, did you not want him to talk? I don't know, man. Because
he will literally make a bigger impact later in this show. I think you might know what I'm talking about than he did in this match. But more on that later.
Well, after the match, Macho Man Randy Savage and Elizabeth come out onto the stage, and Savage says that the Giant may be out of control, But at Sturgis, Macho Man will be in control. The Giant goes after Savage now, who takes off to the back with his Elizabeth in tow. And, oh man, you thought that was bad. Well, up next, we've got the team of High Voltage, Kenny Chaos and Robbie Rage. The coolest names of all time. They're taking on...
You sound like the made-up video game characters you face in the freaking career mode on your way to Raw or SmackDown.
Right. Kenny Chaos sounds like a rejected Kenny Omega name from the Indies or something.
Right. Or freaking Kenny Omega cosplayer right now. One of the two. Whatever.
Right. Well, they're taking... And hey, and neither one of these guys are on roids. All right, neither one. Don't you dare accuse them. Hey, you watch your mouth. But they're going up against the team of the Public Enemy, Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge, our favorites. This one goes 5 minutes and 13 seconds.
Before you even start, do you know what this is right here, man? This right here,
garbage,
is main event anywhere in the country.
Oh, well, I thought you were speaking like literally. I was going to say garbage. Well,
God. I feel bad, but sorry. I know they're passed away. The Public Enemy suck, guys. Sorry.
Oh, well,
they did.
Of course. Well, you know what this means, Greg, was something like this.
Shut up and take my money.
Take it all.
Right.
The bank account. I want this match.
Good Lord. Well, this one goes 5 minutes, 13 seconds. At one point, Johnny Grunge lays Robbie Rage on a table outside. Rocco Rock sentons over the top rope just as Kenny Chaos pulls his partner off the table, causing Rocco to crash through the table. Miscommunication leads to Chaos and Rage colliding because they're idiots.
Boy, man, you said a mouthful. Chaos and Rage. Oh, man.
Grunge then rolls up.
My personality during this match. Sorry.
Grunge then rolls Rage up with a schoolboy for the win. Uncle Dave hated this match so much he actually rated it -0.5 star. I gave it a 0.5 star.
Still too high.
Yeah, and you said you didn't rate it, so.
No, I mean, I'll tell you this though. This is one of the worst pieces of crap I've ever seen.
Yeah, this
sucked.
sucked.
Hyperbole there, but it's up there, man.
It was a crime against tag team wrestling. I'll say that.
It's funny. One of my notes here is like, do you realize that very technically, Kenny Chaos is the most successful of these four men because he did at least hold a WCW tag title at one point.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right. Didn't he have it handed to him?
Yep, with Rick Steiner.
Yeah.
So on a technicality, Kenny Chaos is the most successful of these four men.
That's sad.
Wow.
Oh man. Well, after the match, we're not done, Greg, because Robbie Rage jumps Johnny Grunge.
We're done when the Public Enemy match is going. Hell no.
Oh yeah, got to keep the crap rolling, man. Robbie Rage jumps Johnny Grunge, beating him down. Kenny Chaos brings in half of the broken table and beats him up even more as we go to commercial. Ah, man.
They never drew a dime.
All
That's
right,
actually not that true. I got to be honest. I mean, I think the Public Enemy were pretty huge in Philadelphia.
Yeah, they drew a couple of dimes.
I mean, but I get the sentiment. You're not completely wrong, but got to keep it there. There are idiots that like that crap. Why? I don't know.
Those guys never drew a dime.
All right. Anyway,
and yet, Mike Graham drew a bunch of dimes. By the way, you always keep that in mind, folks.
Exactly. Oh, duh. He's clearly the most successful Graham. Who's Billy? Anyway, good Lord. We then go back from commercial, and the Nitro Girls are dancing on the stage. Alex Wright now joins in to dance with them, just like we wanted.
I lost my crap at this, dude. I'm not gonna lie, I just couldn't stop laughing, dude.
Well, they knew what we wanted. Everybody wanted to see. It's Alex Wright getting down. But this is until Mean Gene Okerlund walks up to try to get an interview. The Nitro Girls run away, and Alex Wright keeps speaking in German, which pisses Mean Gene off. This continues on the Clash of the Champions, by the way. He does this a few times, so check that out. Alex Wright says that Chris Jericho isn't a Lionheart, he's a kitty cat. And Alex says that he is the greatest cruiserweight champion because he's from Germany. Okay,
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, sure. I couldn't figure out, by the way, I thought he was a heel here. He's definitely a heel by the Clash of the Champions. But he comes out with the baby faces not to spoil anything, but he's with the baby faces at the end of the show. And I'm like, what are you doing here?
No, he's with WCW at the end of the show.
No, I guess so. But maybe I didn't see the other heels that were out there. Were there any?
Canyon was out there.
Oh, I didn't even see him.
Dean Malenko's out there.
Yeah, okay.
There's a couple, yeah.
Makes more sense now. But something that didn't make sense was Alex Wright versus Scotty Riggs. One went 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
In what world does this not make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Sure, under Nitro, why would you put two of your biggest stars on the damn show? What are you talking about?
Yeah, in under 4 minutes. That'll draw the house.
Well, it was scheduled to be two, but then they realized how big the stars they were. They doubled it.
Yeah, they put him on the marquee.
Jeez, man. I don't know anything. I swear.
As much as I crap on this.
All right, I'm done.
Good Lord. As much as I crapped on this, this match isn't half bad as for being like, under 4 minute match of who gives a crap, guys. Wright wins off a missile drop kick. Mike Fitzgerald.
I always liked Alex Wright, kind of. Okay, I always thought he was a good wrestler. I don't get the hate on him, but
yeah, I mean, he was a good wrestler. His matches were like hit and miss. Some were really good. Some were like, I don't know.
I can't get into how they use them. Not really his faults, to be fair.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Berlin sucked. I'll say that. Alex Wright was pretty good though.
Yeah. Well, either way, Mike Fitzgerald of 411 Mania gave it a 1.5 stars. I gave it an even 2 stars. By the way, I'm rating here because some of these I give higher ratings because of how short they are and what they did with their time. Nitro had a ton of really thrown together crap short matches, so yeah. Either way, after commercial break, Mean Gene Okerlund invites Lex Luger out onto the entry ramp for an interview. Luger says, up until now, he's been concentrated on Sturgis. By the way, here's the point in the show where I noticed that most people keep referring to Sturgis instead of saying the name of the event, Road Wild.
Yeah, they did that a lot with all of them.
Yeah, they kept talking about, in Sturgis. The one that it resonated with me, I was like, that's almost like, although they ended up naming the event that, it just reminded me of the Crown Jewel.
Oh, yeah.
Like, here in the Crown Jewel and at the Crown Jewel, and it's like, okay.
And we all know the Crown Jewel is the Necro Butcher. But
yeah, well, and the Crown Jewel of the Dakotas is clearly Sturgis. So there you go. Keep in mind
that stupid Mount Rushmore. I want to go to Sturgis.
Yeah, who cares about that, man? The black, was it the Black Foothills or whatever? Nobody cares about that crap, okay? And all the other touristy stuff. No, it's Sturgis. You got to roll in there with your bike, see some old ladies on motorcycles getting topless. There you go.
Sounds like a Friday night to me.
Damn straight. But now he says tonight will be a
defining club with old lady Agnes because on Wednesday night she pulls out her good boob.
What the F? But anyway, now tonight, he says tonight will be a defining moment in his life. Now he's going to go on in the main event to slap Hollywood Hogan around and win the WCW World Heavyweight title. Up next, we get Syxx.
Can I just say real quick, I hate that they had an interview with him out there before he has a main event match. It should have just been in the back. I don't know why it's always been a pet peeve of mine. Like, don't play the music and have the guy come out there when you're going to have a big moment later. It just kind of, I don't know, it's a pet peeve of mine.
That's the one critique I had about them in the Georgia Dome where they brought Goldberg out to face Scott Hall and then brought him out again for the main event. I'm like, I know you want to give him more Goldberg, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like it certainly didn't kill the reaction. So, I mean, screw me. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just, I don't know. Overthinking it, maybe.
Definitely wasn't worth it or necessary.
No. But up next is Syxx taking on Chris Benoit in about 4 minutes. In the end, Chris Benoit goes to hit a superback suplex on Syxx when Jeff Jarrett runs in to attack Benoit. This draws the DQ. Mike Fitzgerald, for some reason, gave this 2.5 stars. I gave it 1.5. What do you think of this?
Yeah, it was all right. I did point out, I wrote this down too. I think it was weird that 1-2-3 Kid and Jeff Jarrett had a feud. And these two kind of feuded here for a second, WCW. And then they would end up feuding again WWE next year at SummerSlam. 1 year from here, by the way.
Yeah, nuts.
X-Pac would shave his head. These two are just intertwined all the damn time.
Down in the archives, by the way, SummerSlam 98. Yeah, freaking nuts. It's kind of weird that their careers wound up like that. But Jarrett continues his assault on Benoit after the match until Steve Mongo McMichael runs in to attack Jarrett. Dean Malenko then runs in to attack Chris Benoit. Benoit and Mongo eventually throw Malenko and Jarrett out of the ring and pose together as we go to commercial. So
ironically, Malenko next year would be in the Horsemen.
Right. Yeah, I was about to say, to anybody that doesn't know, Mongo and Benoit were in the Horsemen at this time. Malenko was not. And Jarrett was like trying to get into the Horsemen, but didn't. So it was weird.
It's a cluster. God damn, the way you break that down.
Right. Like, I want to be a Horseman. Okay. But up next, man, is clearly match of the night. It is Vincent. Big Vince. He's taken on...
My money's already out of the account and in their hands. Just going to put that out there.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say to that one. Wait. You know what I say about this match is...
Sir, here is a check with my name on it. Write down any number on this piece of paper and I will pay it.
But Vincent is taking...
Real quick, on our post for Wednesday's show, that's SummerSlam 92, you didn't tag Virgil versus Nails. Now, thankfully, I corrected that in my Instagram post, but I'm pretty pissed at you for that. That's one of those unforgivable things. Dude. We're going to have problems from now on, but, whatever.
Yeah. That.
I'm not even joking, by the way. Go look at my Instagram, Event Collector. I made sure to put Virgil versus Nails as a hashtag.
Good Lord. Well, either way, in this one, Vincent is taking on Booker T with Stevie Ray in his corner. This one goes for 49 seconds. You heard me right. Stevie Ray.
And you wonder why I didn't grade these.
Well, Stevie Ray gets involved behind the referee's back. Booker wins with a crescent kick. Mike Fitzgerald rated it a squash. I gave it a half a star because I couldn't believe what the hell. Like, why? It's not like he was a big star, but really, they just job out Vincent in less than a minute. And then
Vincent should have won, but
wow. Well, then after the match, Booker holds Vincent while Stevie beats the crap out of him. Just really driving it home.
I don't know if it was before or after this, because they had been feuding for like a semi-feud for a minute. And he had cut a promo. I don't know how it got through on TV. And he said he was, and I quote, tired of all this black-on-black crime.
Mother of God.
Yeah.
Well, we now go back to Mean Gene Okerlund on the entry ramp.
It's like crime on wrestling, but anyways.
Yeah. Mean Gene calls out Diamond Dallas Page. Gene asks for DDP's thoughts on Ric Flair. DDP says that he respects Flair, but Flair is partnered up with Kurt Hennig, and DDP hates Kurt Hennig. So, by association, DDP hates Ric Flair and will make him feel the bang. We'll get to
Just
that.
how math adds up.
Yeah. So, all I can think of is they should have done something like on Big Bang Theory when Sheldon tells Bert Spiner, he's like, "You're now my mortal enemy," and he looks at Will Wheaton, he's like, "It doesn't take up that much of your time, don't worry." All I can think of is them say that he's like, "You're gonna feel the bang," and Kurt Hennig looks over at Flair, he's like, "Doesn't take up that much of your time, don't worry about it."
You'll be fine.
Yeah. Anyway, this next match though is something. It's the Barbarian taking on Wrath with James Vandenberg in his corner. More of the video game characters.
At this point, I'm like, did I accidentally turn on Thunder?
Right. This just wow.
Like, who
This
the
was on
hell?
Nitro.
Who's the heel? Who's the heel in this match? Why is this match happening?
Right. This only goes for 3 minutes.
I can't remember off the top of my head like every damn feud, but these two never had a feud. But they just put two tough guys in there and said, "Here, beat the hell out of each other for 10 seconds." So
basically, yeah, it goes for 3 minutes of time that people probably spent flipping over to Raw.
Sorry, 180 seconds. I stand corrected.
Oh yeah. Get it right, damn it. But either way, yeah. So to anybody who watched this and didn't flip over to Raw at this point, in the end, Barbarian comes off the top and gets caught with a uranagi for the win from Wrath. Like Fitzgerald gave it dose stars. I don't know why I gave it a star. Like you said, what the hell was this doing here?
It felt so out of place, man.
Yep. Like, whatever. Well,
like, and I just watch wrestling as a fan, but then when you see stuff like this, you're like, why are they feuding? Who am I supposed to cheer for? Why do I want this guy to win? Why do I want this guy to lose? I don't give a damn about this match. What the hell?
Asking questions. All right, just
right. I might
damn it.
my own head doing that.
Yeah. I'm trying to apply logic to an illogical situation, Greg. Like, it's just knock it off.
I apologize.
Well, after the commercial break, we go to Mean Gene Okerlund in the middle of the ring, calling out the Steiner brothers. The Steiners get halfway down the entry ramp. Wow. No. They motion for someone to come out, and it's Ted DiBiase. Ted joins him in the ring, and Gene asks what he's doing there. Since the last time we saw him, he was with the NWO. DiBiase says that when he was in the NWO, he couldn't see the bigger picture. Somewhere along the line, he lost track of what really matters. He says he used to live by every man has his price, but now he believes every man pays the price for their choices. He didn't exactly plug it, but he's got a book that came out right here talking about being a born-again Christian and whatever. And so
I was going to ask that. Is this that whole thing? So it's
yeah.
Born-again Christian, so now you're not evil anymore on TV either?
Maybe. He's trying to sell books.
It's not that I can't buy it. It's just like kind of lazy.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Trying to sell books, man. Are you going to be the evil guy coming out there to telling people to buy your book on being a Christian?
Yeah, right.
Anyway, he says that starts this weekend at Sturgis when the Steiner brothers take the World Tag Team titles from the Outsiders. The Outsiders now come out, and Scott Hall says that while the Steiners are good, the World Tag titles prove that they're better. Kevin Nash says DiBiase must... Nash says that DiBiase must have forgot that NWO is for life, so at Road Wild, he's a dead man. Which in Sturgis, he probably could kill a man and get away with it. But that's beside the point. DiBiase says that he's going to tell DiBiase says he's going to tell the Steiners everything he knows about the Outsiders. And Nash says the only reason the Steiners got Ted is so that they have someone to read them the menus on the road.
Good Lord.
I didn't totally get that joke. I'm assuming he's saying they're illiterate.
That's what I thought. You're calling him stupid.
Yeah, I was like, is it really as simple as I'm thinking it is, or is it something else to it? Okay. Anyway, I'm going to quit overthinking it. Up next.
You just told me to stop overthinking stuff.
I know. It's hard to do with this stuff sometimes. But up next is something you don't have to think that hard over, sort of.
I thought you would.
It's Psychosis with Sonny Ono in his corner taking on Conan. First of all, Conan came out to the NWO B Team theme. I thought was kind of funny.
Why?
Conan
is only 18 at this point?
Definitely not at this point. Conan makes quick work of Psychosis, making him tap out to the Tequila Sunrise. Mike Fitzgerald didn't rate it. I gave it a star. I don't know why. They didn't really do anything. It was like a couple seconds long. They jobbed the hell out of Psychosis. So I don't know why.
Excellent usage of this man who's really talented.
Yeah, right. And then after the match, speaking of really talented, Rey Mysterio Jr. hobbles to the ring on crutches and gets in. Conan kicks one of the crutches away, and then Rey cracks Conan with the other one, knocking him out. Rey shows that he can walk now. It's a miracle! and he was faking his injury. After helping Psychosis up, Ray talks trash to Conan into the camera. This was, for some reason, a staple of WCW. Did you notice that?
I did, yeah. I think it might have started with the Harlem Heat.
Like, I don't know why they would lay somebody out in the ring, and then it's like, are you telling the camera so that, like, they film the message for when the guy wakes up? They'll play it back for him?
No, telling their idiot fans at home.
Yeah, I guess. It's like, because they're, like, addressing the person that's knocked out. Like, he's like, hey, Conan, and I'm like, he's knocked out behind you, bro.
Just wake him up real quick and tell him and then go.
Yeah, right. But up next, we had to make room for this match. It is Silver King and Damian taking on Glacier and Ernest Miller. More video game characters.
More Thunder matches.
How dare you? You know, I don't know what you see in this, but what I see is...
Shut up and take my money.
Not even for this. It's not even worth that joke.
This goes about 3.5 minutes. This was a hell of a freaking matchup. Who booked this?
I don't know.
Terry
My
Taylor.
immediate answer is Bischoff, but then I don't know. I think I've been the only guy.
I don't think he booked the matches, so I'm gonna put this on either Kevin Sullivan or Terry Taylor. Ernest Miller ends up winning with a roundhouse kick off the top rope to Damian, which admittedly was kind of cool. Mike Fitzgerald of 411 Mania gave it a half a star. I gave it an A star. It was okay.
I didn't rate any of this, but even though you are, how did you give this a star?
I don't know,
What the
maybe
heck
half.
are you watching?
Maybe half a star. They did karate kicks real good. I don't know.
I would have bought it more if you said I still like Glacier's entrance.
Well, there's that. But up next, Eric
You're
Bischoff comes
high.
to the ring.
Go home. You're drunk.
What the hell? Go home, you're drunk. But Eric Bischoff comes to the ring next, soaking in the reaction from basically his hometown crowd. He says that he loves all the people there, but he doesn't love WCW management for allowing assaults last week from the Giant and Larry Zbyszko to go unpunished. Eric calls out JoJo Dillon while also making some fat jokes about him. So, JJ Dillon, a veteran of the business, comes out to the ring and stands with his back facing hard cam. And Bischoff has to remind him to turn the hell around.
What the fuck?
All right,
Okay,
then.
you know what though? I'm gonna not to make an excuse that he should have known because he's been on WCW for a while. But think about it, though, in his heyday, it was really a hard camera.
That's
Really
probably
think about
all there was a hard camera.
Well, it was way up one camera. Like, I don't know. Was it a thing though back then? Make sure you're facing this way.
Usually there was like, if they couldn't afford much, they would usually have a hard cam. Usually, sometimes, I don't know. But even then, it's
I'm
like,
just gonna pass it off as like it wasn't as thorough as of a production, at least TV wise, when he was in his heyday. That's all I'm
Perhaps.
thinking.
yeah. But Eazy-E then tells Dillon that if the Giant lays another finger on him, he'll sue him for all he's worth. Because he has so much respect for Zbyszko's family, though, he said that he won't sue him, but he will kick him right between the eyes. Dillon smiles and says that he's sure Larry heard him loud and clear before walking to the back.
Do that.
Yeah. Well, Larry would not get his revenge, so there's that.
Larry would face him at Starcade.
Yeah. Well, didn't Bischoff beat him?
No, I'm pretty sure Zbyszko wins.
I thought, well, wasn't there the one where he loaded up his kick pad and kicked somebody? Was it him or Ric Flair?
If it was Zbyszko, it wasn't at Starcade because that's when Nitro was on the line. So Zbyszko won. They said he kept
Okay.
it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I'm getting feuds mixed up.
No,
Yeah.
that's still Zbyszko. You can be right. It just wasn't there.
Yeah, I can't remember. But we're officially into the third hour of Nitro now, and we're kicking off with DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, with Kimberly Page in his corner, taking on Ric Flair in hell yes. In 10 minutes. We get a commercial break during this match, And right before going into it, Curt Hennig runs to ringside to observe, because, he's not going to get involved. Hennig distracts DDP at one point. Later on, DDP actually locks Flair in his own figure 4. Hennig runs in, and DDP small packages Hennig before rolling him out of the ring. Finally, Hennig comes in with a foreign object in his hand, and he gets cold-cocked by DDP, who picks up the dropped object, and the ref calls for a DQ. Uncle Dave and I both gave this dose stars. It was okay. For the two guys who were in it, this should have been awesome.
Yep. Throwaway.
Yeah, it sucks.
You don't say that about a Ric Flair match very often. Throwaway match.
Or DDP during this era. I mean, he had a few squashes, I guess, but after DDP puts the foreign object on his fist, Ric Flair...
International object.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
Now, Rick, I don't know when. Just go listen to every episode. You'll hear it sometime.
Yeah, right. This was during, Turner had some weird thing about that, but yeah.
International object.
Yep. But either way, after all this, though, Ric Flair and Curt Hennig both rush him. Paige ends up fighting them both off and eventually taking off to the backstage area. And then we get this tag match. It is Villano 4 and 5 taking on Hector Garza and Liz Mark Jr. This one goes for 6 minutes, 43 seconds. They actually spread the Mexicans out on this show, Greg. How about that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we get 3 matches.
Where the hell is Villano 1, 2, and 3?
I think they're retired at this point. They're older. So Villano 4 and 5 are the younger of the Villano crew. I don't know if they're all related or not, or if they just all, dress the same. But either way, this goes for 6 minutes, 43 seconds. Lizmark gets one of the Villanos down, getting distracted by his own partner at one point. Villanos switch places.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Villanos switch places, and a fresh one rolls up Lizmark with a small package for the win. Mike Fitzgerald of 411 Mania and I both gave this 1.5 stars. It was okay. I feel like I said that
usually means crap, but
yeah, well, it's pretty crappy. It wasn't great. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's pretty crappy. Let's see if someone gets that.
Wow. Up next, Mean Gene Okerlund is standing in the ring now and calls out J.J. Dillon again.
JoJo.
Dillon joins him with papers in his hand. They discuss what's going on with Sting. Dillon says that they weren't sure if they could trust him there for a while, but now he's positive that WCW can put their trust in Sting. He says that they need him now to take on the NWO, and he has a contract for an opponent for Sting at a time and place of Sting's choosing. Sting repels from the rafters, and the crowd goes wild. He gets in the ring. J.J. Dillon says that they're past apologies, and he can't undo what's been done. However, he can try to rebuild trust with Sting, and he hands Sting a contract to take on Curt Hennig.
What the fuck?
Oh, man.
Sting rips the contract in half and hands it back to Dillon before walking away. Dillon tells me, Gene, how he's going to figure out what Sting wants and then walks away. How the hell could they not, at this point, figure out what the hell Sting wanted? Why would he want Curt Hennig? On what freaking planet would that be what Sting would have been brooding in the rafters for almost a year over?
It still to this day baffles me.
You know what?
I don't know what he wants.
I'll quit brooding and being an emo and come down finally. As long as you give me Curt Hennig, damn it. That's all I want.
Hennig's not even in the NWO yet.
Right.
So again, it makes no freaking sense.
It's not even a consolation prize at this point. But anyway,
Did we already get to the part where he offered him Syxx?
I think that's coming up next week. So he offers him, I think, Syxx on the next show. So yeah, that's.
So you want Syxx?
At least that's closer.
That's been under your skin.
Yeah,
since
right.
Fall Brawl 1996. and he literally debuts the night after.
You'll take it, and you guys will take each other on, and a loser wears a diaper match.
In the very near future, there will be some figure photography on my page, by the way, so everyone knows.
Hell yeah. Well, we're about to get into the main event. Before we do, we're going to take our second to last break. On the other end of this, we're getting into the main event. Right after this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas, and what's your name?
I'm Alan. Yeah. We're brothers.
That's right.
Yeah. Same mother and father.
Your room was...
We shared the room.
Shared a room.
We shared a room.
Thought I knew your face.
Yeah, we go way back, mate. Yeah.
We should do a podcast then.
We have.
We do a podcast.
We do a podcast.
What's it called?
The Broadcast. Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah. Well,
what do we do?
Well, we cover all different things in the world of pop culture. We're talking about comic books, we're talking about professional wrestling, and we're talking about movies. Go back and watch classic retro wrestling events, the likes of WWE, WCW, and if you do like that, you can check us out on Apple iTunes, also on Podbean, Anchor, and on Podknife. Also check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast. That's BROKAST. Nearly stuffed up the ending.
No, it's all right. Good on you.
Yeah. Instagram also at The Broadcast Podcast.
Remember, we don't spell it with a C. We spell it with a K.
Sorry, mate.
Take it easy.
Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we're back. It's main event time. Hollywood Hogan defends the WCW World Heavyweight title against Lex Luger in 11 minutes. Paul, Nash, Macho Man, and I put Virgil, but Vincent, whatever the hell, that guy.
Billy Bill, whatever.
Good Lord. Shane. All try to get involved, and Luger fights them all off before locking Hogan in a torture rack and forcing him to submit. This was a random, this ending came out of effing nowhere. And I was like, whoa. I didn't hate it. It just seemed like it was like, oh, he locked him in the torture rack. Oh, he gave up. That's the end. All right, he's the champ.
When I was a kid, man, this was one of my all-time favorite wrestling moments, still to this day.
Yeah, it was big, man. Well, Uncle Dave gave it 3/4 of a star. I gave it a whole star. I mean, the match sucked, but the moment was cool.
The match. So.
Yeah. Most of Hogan's matches sucked at this point. All right, I'm just going to say. He didn't have a lot of great ones. But this one was a rare Nitro main event, and for the world title, it was great. You notice Hogan had a few of these where it's like he put the world title on the line, main event, and it was like big moments that are still remembered to this day.
Yep.
Well, after the bell sounds, the crowd hits the roof. The babies go flying in the air as Luger almost cries with a world title. WCW guys all hit the ring to celebrate with Lex Luger as the crowd goes wild. He walks to the back with the Giant now. Backstage, in the babyface locker room, we get a little bit of the bubbly getting poured all over the new world champion as the celebration continues. In the NWO locker room, Hogan is literally flipping tables and shouting in anger. He says that it wasn't supposed to happen. Before we close the show, we get a shot of the babyface locker room again, where the Giant is helping Lex Luger clean the NWO spray paint off the world title. Yeah, it's about to go right back on. But I will say, if I had one critique for the show, is that I would have driven home the main event just a little bit more. Because, we saw Hogan, at the top of the show, Luger at the end of the first hour, and then that was, it. We had, a few cutaways, or I would have had a few cutaways backstage or something here and there throughout the night.
The mentality, you probably thought, we already have them hooked, we don't need to sell it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of, but...
I got to point out, this isn't pay-per-view. You don't have them hooked. Pay-per-view, you've already got their money. You don't have them hooked
exactly.
on a TV show.
Yeah, they can turn away to Raw at any time. I mean, they didn't, but they could have. But either way, that does it for this one. We're going to take our final break. When we come back, we're going to hit the final ratings and tell you what's coming up on the podcast right after this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
What's up, everybody? I am the hardest part of the ring, the host of the Apron Bump podcast. Ugh, another wrestling podcast. How many times can I listen to fans tell me who needs a push, who doesn't need a push, who brings Vince's coffee these days? Enough! The Apron Bump is about the journey. It's about nostalgia. It's about discovering new forms of wrestling to really tickle your pickle as a wrestling fan. The podcast brings you reviews of wrestling events all over the world, whether it's WWF, WWE, WCW, ECW. We even cover the golden eras of Ring of Honor, Progress, TNA, and more promotions in the future as well. New episodes every Wednesday. Bump Day, yeah? Go to apronbump.com or go to your favorite podcast platform or YouTube and subscribe today for the most diverse, fan-friendly wrestling podcast in the world. I'm Hard.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we're back.
We're back.
Final ratings time. Internet Movie Database gave this 7.4 out of 10. CageMatch.net gave it 6.5 out of 10. I gave it 7.5 out of 10. It wasn't an amazing show top to bottom, but, I mean, the ending sold it for me, and there were a couple other moments. What say you?
Well, considering this was a 100 Nitro, I think the undercard should have been better. I gave it a C-.
Yeah,
you're going to have a show, you're not going to put more on there, you're going to rely on the main event.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It was okay. Yeah, it was basically just built around the main event, which was fine. But yeah, the 100th Nitro, I feel like, especially with a 3-hour show, I don't know.
A 3-hour show.
But that does it for this one. We're wrapping up the month with a good one next week. It is quite possibly one of the greatest wrestling shows ever. It is WWE SummerSlam 2002. Lest you think I'm overhyping this thing, I'm not. Greg and I watched this in a hotel before WrestleMania 15, actually. Or 2015.
And it was SummerSlam, not
SummerSlam.
You'll get it.
Yeah, I'll get it one of these days. I can't word today. Before SummerSlam 2015.
You believe in word, bro?
Apparently not. That's coming up next week. We're hitting you with that. Going into September here, just running down some of the lineup. We're bringing you TNA in 2007 still. Our next stop is going to be TNA No Surrender 2007. That's coming into you on September 7th. September 14th, it's WWF In Your House 3. I believe that's in 95, is it not?
Yeah.
Okay, I forget which one that was. That was, 3 belts, 1 match. Yeah. 3 belts, 1 match was the tagline. That was, before Vince would have an aneurysm over the word belt. So there's that.
I'm still kind of with them on that. It's not a belt.
That's literally what they've been called since the dawn of the creation of them.
This thing I have around my waist right now on my pants is a belt.
It is a leather belt with gold on it, though. So it's like a belt is just something you put around your waist. So, I mean, that's how you wear it. So
yeah, but the belt, the title is also on people's shoulders or just in their hands, too. So.
Well, either way, the main event of this
or
one
Bubba Ray
is...
Dudley's case around his damn neck. I mean, there's so many ways you can go with this.
Wow. Well, the main event was Diesel and Shawn Michaels taking on the British Bulldog, and it was Bulldog and Yokozuna. The tag titles...
controversy there. Won't get into that in the show.
Right. The tag titles are on the line from Bulldog and Yoko, and the WWF and Intercontinental titles are on the line from Diesel and Michaels, respectively. Bret Hart takes on Jean-Pierre Lafitte for a damn leather jacket.
Don't laugh at that. That match might surprise you.
Yeah. Psycho Sid's on the card. Psycho Sid's on the card. Bam Bam Bigelow's on the card. Dean F. and Douglas, man. There's a lot to talk about on this one. We're going back to 1995. Not one of our favorite years, but this show honestly wasn't that bad.
On the contrary, it's one of my favorite years, but not for the good reason.
Right.
Gotta use your verbiage a little bit better there, dude.
Yeah. Well, that's coming up September 14th. September 21st, we're bringing you, on my birthday, WCW Fall Brawl 1998. So we're going a year ahead of this here to talk about what's happening in WCW a year from all of this that we just talked about today. But in 1998, for Fall Brawl. Fall Brawl was usually pretty decent, so... I don't
remember if this card is decent, but I remember this Fall Brawl, the War Games being fun.
Yeah, I always love War Games. Good, bad, or indifferent. I always liked War Games. So
I feel like that's one of those matches, almost like a Hell in a Cell. I'm going to watch it.
Right. The bonus show that week is also NWA Clash of the Champions 3 Fall Brawl. It's the very first ever show that they dubbed Fall Brawl, and it's a Clash of the Champions. So we're bringing you that one. And then we're closing out the month. We just talked about this one, actually. September 28th, it's WWF Ground Zero in your house. That's 97, isn't it? Yeah. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to covering all of that coming up in September. And
all this stuff, all these events you're naming off, like the news. I'm just thinking about some of it. It's going to be very fun.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'll say that. But thank you for joining me today, Greg.
Yep.
And we will come at you next week with WWE SummerSlam 2002.